So, like I normally tell you guys, I would just so happen to collect a lot of these just for, conversation, topic sakes. But those who, I guess, in a sense, run Reddit, they got a little bit sensitive about it. And they decided that they wanted to delete it, right? And the subject matter was of a woman for about quite some time. She was a lesbian. She was not in relationships with guys or anything like that, right? Solely liked women. So the one time that her and her friend, one of her best friends is a male, they decided, just to, watch a movie and, sit there. And long story short, they, started, going back and forth, and one thing led to another. And that woman ended up dating that guy, and then they ended up getting married. And she stated for her that she's always loved women more than men. But in this instance, she just ended up finding that guy who, in a sense, made things make sense and everything just clicked. And if I can remember properly, I think she stated that she even ended up getting married to the guy, and they've been fine ever since, right? So like I said before, I had to do a little bit paraphrasing from memory, but that's pretty much the gist of the story. But from that, for me, I don't understand why it is that Reddit would decide that they need to get rid of a story like that, which is completely crazy, which is completely insane. Because if we're dealing with people's truths, that is that person's truth, right? They stated that this is who they were at this one point in time, and then later on they ended up finding this person, and this person ended up just changing their life. That happens. But obviously, when it comes to this community, this is not exactly what they want people to basically hear or see. Proof of what I'm saying, let's go through a few of the comments. Stated, I'm surprised people aren't condemning you for entering a heterosexual relationship. No one's accusing your husband of conversion therapy. Must be nice. In my old country, what he did is legally considered a crime. Quote, any action taken with the intention or the result of changing someone's sexuality to heterosexual. In that country, his sexual acts with you are literally a crime, regardless of the fact that you consented. He engaged in conversion therapy on you, and you could have been heavily fined or jailed.
What?
Let me just say that that country is completely stupid, and that's utterly ridiculous. The person even stated that even if you agreed with it, even if you wanted to, you could still be jailed and fined. What? Ooh, oh my goodness. Like I said, some of the laws and of some of these other countries are so far beyond me. It's ridiculous. It is 100% ridiculous. It is still illegal, and you can still be fined and or imprisoned even if the person agreed and or was completely fine. So that means to say that if a person is one way right now, but they were like, you know what, I feel like this is the actual route that I was supposed to be going. I feel like this is, in a sense, what I missed out on. You mean to tell me that somebody's going to be going to jail for figuring out something else? Okay. All right. Another person stated, I identified as a lesbian for many years. In my late 20s, I realized I'm pansexual. I always thought that if I were to get married, my first spouse was a woman, that it would be a woman, as I never saw myself with a man long term. My husband and I have been together for almost 5 years and married for 3. It isn't always easy, not because he's a man, just because marriage isn't always easy and we are 2 different people. But I love him to the moon and back and wouldn't trade him for anything in the world. Love is love. I'm glad you found yours.
Another one.
I dated women for 15 years and then met my now husband. I had to come back out to my family. He just clicked with me. I always considered myself 90-10. He's the 10%. I was never a man hater. I just loved and still do women. He is my person, spirituality, mentally, and sexually. As long as you're honest with yourself and don't limit yourself with the labels fitted, you'll be happy, healthy, and better for yourself and your fellow man. I'm happy you found your person. Of all people, I understand your situation completely.
Another one.
Quoted, someone in the comments asked you, quote, do you still have feelings for women? Does he know you are a lesbian before the kiss? And you answered, no, I'm not sexually attracted to women. He knew. Then another had a follow-up question. So are you romantically attracted to women? Your answer, no. Now, over 6,000 likes later, let's be serious. How on earth were you ever a lesbian? You didn't change sexuality. You changed a label you applied to yourself. It's a consequence of identity politics. And what's concerning is the overwhelming validation in the comment section, the open homophobia, and people applauding this appropriation of words meant for a minority group to accurately describe their reality, namely their same-sex attraction. I mean, sure, congrats for finding love, I guess, but this conversation shouldn't be about fluid sexuality or whatever is implied here. It's also not about biphobia, as many strangely suggested, while feeling free to paint gays and lesbians as some sort of oppressors within the LGBT community. Seriously, what's up with that? The conversation should be about how you cannot identify as a sexual minority without, well, having the sexuality that defines this group of people, because then words have no meaning at all, and you end up as a ex-lesbian who got cured by a man, a false anecdote for homophobic people to use as proof that it's all just a phase. Thanks a bunch. So that was just a few. Now, if you happen to go through the rest of the post, you'll see more people, in a sense, having issues and trying to redefine who this person is. As we clearly heard with some of the other stuff, people basically stated that, hey, these are titles that people are either presented with or that people basically put directly on them. If you decide not to go by those titles, then in life you will, in a sense, be happy and find the happiness that you are looking for. But if you decide that you want to obtain or, in a sense, go for these titles, then you're basically putting yourself in this narrow box, and this is, in a sense, where you have to walk, and it is what it is. And the very last comment, that was the person who decided to state that, hey, because of people like you, other people don't really take us seriously, and they're just going to say that, oh, once you get with this, such and such heterosexual person, then, everything is pretty much cured, right? I really feel like this is an issue on that person, and they, in a sense, are trying to put whatever they feel directly on this person who is being honest about who it is that they are, how it is that they found out, the road that they decided that they were going to go down. And now this person is like, oh, well, now people are going to question this and question that, and they're going to look at this and look at us in this type of way. No, people are already looking at the community because of a variety, a multitude a universal amount of reasons. This is not the, like, this is not the one. Now maybe if you were talking about the 90s, 80s, early 2000s, and back, okay, maybe you would sit up there and have a point. Now, no, you're just projecting at this moment in time. That's pretty much what this is. And the other thing that I'm seeing is that, these are just individuals who are not accepting that a person who was walking a portion of their life this way found a different way to walk. And it seems that they're, in some instances, they're reluctantly saying that, okay, yeah, that's great for you, that's awesome, whatnot, or whatever, when realistically that's not what they want to say. They realistically want to say, like, what are you doing? Like, do you know what type of harm this is going to cause? Do you know what this is going to do to us? Do you know how bad this makes us? That's what they realistically want to say. But when you look through the comments, you'll see other comments, in a sense, giving a lot of support to the woman, and you have other people within the comment section, saying the exact same thing, and then you have other people trying to say that, oh no, this is a false story, this is a fake story. As soon as I read it, I knew it was just written by a man who has a fantasy about this and yada yada yada. They make it seem as though, as once people are walking down this road, that there is no other road, that there's just no other road. Like, people just cannot change in life, which is completely ridiculous to me. People change jobs all the time. People make different choices on food. Well, matter of fact, let me just make it a little bit more standard, right? So that people can understand, right? Because some people be like, so now you're trying to compare us to food and different stuff like this. I'm listing life choices and decisions that people just so happen to make. Everybody makes decisions every single day. Something that is very important is a career. Some people might have worked their whole life directed towards one career, which is, let's say, being a doctor. You have to study a very long time, go through a lot of schooling, you got to take a lot of tests. Then after that, you still have to do some more training, right? Up until you get what it is that you really need in order to be the doctor that you're supposed to be. And then you might have some people that'll be like this for like 30, 40, or 50 years, right? This has just basically been their whole life. And then they're like, you know what? I don't want to be a doctor no more. I think I want to be something else. And the reason why I listed a career is because a career is technically the utmost important thing. And it is, in a sense, how it is that people are graded when it comes to society. If you got a career, you pretty much are there. You know what it is that you want to be, you know who you are in life, and you're just automatically going for it, and you're not letting anything deter you directly from that road, because you already know from the get-go that this is where you're going to start, finish, and end, right? But even with those careers, and no matter how long people stay in those careers, people still make the options to change. Just like with this here. Even if somebody feels that they like the same person, right? They may later on end up meeting somebody completely different. They might meet a whole nother human being. And that human being might be the piece that they were missing that can make them completely whole. Like, hey, this is what I like. This is what I'm into. Video games. I'm into linguistics. I'm into reading the dictionary. Or like maybe a lot of stuff, right? That this person has been solely interested in, that they've never been able to really convey to another person. Maybe the other person gets them. And because that person gets them, or they're able to maybe heal like some past traumas, or maybe they're able to add an addition or something to somebody's life, or whatever that they've never seen before, maybe that's the reason that this woman ended up being with the person that she's with and married. But like I see, I just see a lot of people that are, in a sense, bitter, that are angry, that are judgmental, and that are not 100% fully accepting of the choice that a person decided to make at the end of the day.